Hey, I'm going to make a quick video about if, else, if, ask, answer, all these blocks. They're real useful, they're real important. There's been an assignment for 2 days, but if we need some extra support, I'm going to try and talk through some of these blocks and show you how they work. If you are in the first assignment, the one called ask, answer, if, else, this is just part 1. There is a starter code for you. If you click on this link, it will open up the starter code. Spend some time and go through this and slow it down and run each code a couple times. So for this one, if I press 0, and it's going to ask me my favorite number, and I'm just going to say 78, and it says 78. And I run it again, and then I'll pick a different number. This time I'll pick 4, and it says 4. So this one, you can kind of see this say block is just having a little word bubble come out of the sprite. The ask is different because it has a little place where I can type, and that answer is stored in this circle called answer. You will find say under looks, and you will find the answer block under sensing. Ask and answer are both under sensing. They're the brighter blue. They're not motions. So just make sure you're looking under sensing, and you'll find them near the top. All right, this next one, it's going to ask how old I am. If I say something like 43, and I type 43 in there, it'll say you're old enough to vote. If I run it again, and I type something like 12, it doesn't say anything at all. So this one, it will ask me the question, I answer it. If the answer is greater than 17, so when I put 43, that was true. If it's true, it will run whatever inside the if. If it's not true, it just skips it. It's like this section of code just gets skipped. The say you are old enough to vote gets skipped. So that's if you have just the if. Again, that is under the control. You can find this if. Later on, we'll talk about how to expand this, but we don't need that for the first few. This number 2, example 2, is about how to use an if and an else. So I'm going to ask a question here. It's going to ask how tall are you in inches. If I say I'm really tall, like I'm 82 inches tall, which is quite tall, it's going to say you can ride the giant looping coaster, which we assume is for tall people. And so that answer is greater than 48. So if it's true, it's going to run the top one. What's different about this one is if I say something that's not true, like something that's not taller than 48. So if I say 41, which is not greater than 48, it's going to say I should ride the mini Twister kids coaster. So based on what they type, I can have it say different things, which is the whole point of this lesson. And the first couple ones are kind of like this. I do want to show a couple other examples. Number 3, it's asking, so this one's saying greater than, so anything greater than 48 will be true. Anything that's not greater than 48 will be false. This is asking for a specific. So instead of saying greater than, it's using equal. You can find all of these. You can find less than, equals, greater than. You can find them all under operators. This is going to say what's your lunch period. If you say 3, 3 is the only number that 3 is equal to 3. So the only time it will say you must be a freshman is if you type 3. If you type anything else, even if it's nonsense, because the program doesn't know anything about our school, if I type 19, it just say you're not a freshman, because it doesn't, like, the code does not know anything other than 3. If you put something underneath if else, it will always run. So no matter what the answer was, it said have a nice or have a great day. So these examples are similar to the structure we will need for quite a few of these. 4 and 5 are almost exactly like these 2 examples here. You just need to change the wording. Instead of talking about how tall you are on a roller coaster, you're going to ask how much money do you want to spend for a present. And instead of 48, you might choose some other dollar amount. And instead of names of roller coasters, you're going to choose an expensive present and a cheaper present based on the price you pick. These are all things you can come up with. This math question, instead of asking for the period lunch, you're asking a simple math question. It could literally be, what is 2 plus 2? And if I type 4, it should say correct. If they type something else, it should be wrong. 6 and 7 are a little bit trickier, so I'll give you a hint with those. So let's go back to a snap. You can use words in these. So instead of saying if the answer is equal to 3, I'm going to just duplicate this code just so I can use a word. So instead of asking a question about which period is your lunch, I'll say, who is your advisor? Now, I can't easily select all 4 advisors, or however many freshman advisors there are, so I'm just going to pick one real quick. I'm going to put this at number I don't know, at the letter K, just because I don't want to overlap anything. So who's your advisor? And I'm just going to pick a random freshman advisor. So I'm going to say Greenblatt. I'm not even sure if he teaches freshmen. It doesn't matter, because all that matters is you see an example. If they type Greenblatt, and they have to spell it exactly like this. I'm not even sure that's how it's spelled. Again, it doesn't matter. If they spell it like this, it'll say you must be a freshman. If they type any other name, it's going to say you're not a freshman. And so I'm going to press K, run this. If I type Prado, like, it's going to say you're not a freshman, which is what I was expecting, because that's not Greenblatt. It still says have a nice day. Let's try it one more time. If I say Greenblatt, now if this only works if you spell it the same way as the it says you must be a freshman. You have to spell it exactly here, because it's checking, is the thing they type the same word as what the answer is. This will get you through 6. For 7, the big trick is that you want to check something if it's true or false based on what this says. So if the number they select is less than 100, the sprite should move that number of steps. And if it's greater than 100, it should just move 100. It's real easy to make the sprite move 100, because you can just type move 100. Now you'll have to set up the rest of this code. Let me scroll down a little bit. Actually, I'm just going to open up a new sprite. It's real easy to move 100. And if you want to see it, you can put the pen down. That'll move. Okay, it went off my screen, so let's put it back in the center real quick. These are just some like simple debugging stuff. It's really easy to make it move 100. It is a little bit trickier to make it move what their guess is. So you're gonna set up a similar ask and answer. So how far to move? We'll ask this question, and instead of moving 100, what we'll do is we'll move however far they answer. So right now, if I say move 30, it's just going to move a tiny bit. So you can see it just moved a little bit. But if I say, I'll put it over here. Let's say I say move 250, it moves much farther. So I can use this answer in multiple places if I need to. So I can have an if-else block, and I might use it in a check. And to get this 7th one right, you are going to have to use it. I might have to check something, and then I might have to go get another answer, and I might have to use it again, and you're going to have to do a little trial and error with 7. You'll figure it out. All right, so 8, and then the ones for the next day. So part 2, those are where it starts asking you for 3 or 4 choices. So that's where we're going to have to start introducing these things. So for 8, which is on the bottom of day 1, and then 9, A and B, which are on part 2. We're going to need to use a 3rd one. So we're going to get an if block. Let me just clear off all this stuff. And what we can do is we can hit this little arrow at the bottom, and we can extend it. We can put tests in all of these. Okay, we can put tests in all of these. So let's say, I don't know, I'm going to say, what period do you get to school? All right, and we're going to do this. We're going to say if their answer equals 1. Oops, I'm going to put the answer inside the equals. If their answer equals 1, then we want to say something like, good job, you came to school on time. You're on time. If they say something that, and I'll show you a little bit of a trick. If you want to do between 2 numbers, you can grab either greater than or less than and hit this. We'll put the answer in the middle, and we want to pick something. So we want their answer to be greater than 1. So like if they're there second, but maybe before 6 periods, so like before lunch. So this should work for any number between 1 and 6. And then what we'll do is we'll say at least that's before lunch. And then if they come after 6, so we'll get another operator. We'll do a less than, get an answer. And if they're, oh no, we want greater than 6, sorry. Because we want to know if they're later in the day. So we want, is their answer greater than 6? Then we want to say something like, That's crazy. I don't know. This is not one of the things. This is just showing you an example of how you can do one with 3. And then let's test out. You should always test out all 3. So I'm going to run this. First I'm going to try 1, and it should say you're on time. Great. I'll test it again. Let's say I try something in between 1 and 6. So let's try 4. At least that's before lunch. Great, that works. And then I test it again. Let's say I say 7. That's crazy. All right, so it's all working. It's what I want. These are things. You're going to ask the age. If they say really young age, you're going to recommend a G movie. You pick whatever you want. 13 to 16, a PG movie. 17 and older, an R-rated movie. The structure is very similar to this. You'll need a couple other blocks. You'll need a block on top for the number and that kind of stuff. But you've seen that. There's examples of that. There are 4 examples of it for you to look at. So keep going through that. Rock, paper, scissors. It's checking words. So when you're using words, you don't want to use greater than or equals with. I'm sorry. You don't want to use greater than or less than with words. You only want to use equal. So if you want to check, is their answer equal to rock? Then they tie. If it's equal to paper, then so just go through it, read it. When you are finished, save, submit. When you submit it, it goes on day 2. So you're going to find part 2, final submission. You're going to go up to the top and you're going to submit it right here. All right, so that's your video for today. Good luck with that. Please try and catch up. I don't want you guys being behind. When the ask and answer and if and else are real crucial blocks for Snap for like the next month or 2 at least. So we got to make sure we got them. All right, good luck.